Hey everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh no.
How's it
Gotta
going?
focus.
Stop it.
It's Saturday night. You know what that means. Let's go around and
Saturday night.
introduce
Stop
ourselves.
it.
Yeah.
My webcam is freaking out. Hi, I'm Amy Lynn Perea.
Hello, I'm Christian Morgan.
Hello, I'm Guy Tam.
I'm Deja.
I'm Nick.
I'm Sophie.
I'm Xavier.
And together,
we
take it away, Deja.
are
The Intoxicated
Intoxicated
Readers.
We've got a fun one planned tonight. Our prompt this week was, you have 24 hours to do anything. An alternative prompt was, you have one whole month to do anything. And all of us took that idea, jumbled it around in our brains /mush, and produced something with words, hopefully. Either a script, short story, poem, who knows. And we're going to be presenting those tonight dramatically.
Or comedically.
Wait, can I go last?
Yeah?
Oh, we did not talk about the order.
Oh.
X is last.
Alright.
We have drinking rules. If this is your first time here, just sit back, relax, pop open. Bless you.
Bless
you.
you.
Salud.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Pop open your favorite canned wine and just chill. Because we've got drinking games for you to drink to. The first rule, as always, is anytime one of us break character or mess up a line, take a drink. The second rule is anytime the Lord of the Drinks shows their drink, bless you. Who wants to be the Lord of the Drinks?
I'm drinking water. I can.
I'm also
Nice.
drinking water.
I'm drinking water.
I'm drinking a strawberry milkshake.
Not us
Maybe.
exposing the fact that we're not intoxicated at all.
Hey, I've been intoxicated for the past
Who?
couple of weeks.
Who says I'm not intoxicated?
We're intoxicated on
Intoxicated on life.
on the art.
Yes.
Yeah. Fine print.
This is coffee.
Hell yeah. So Deja was first. So your bottle is you and your bottle are the Lord of the Drinks tonight. Anytime Deja shows her big old water bottle, take a drink. The third rule, which is unique to this week's prompt, is, anybody want to take it away?
When a time limit or time in general is mentioned in the script, drink. Yes.
Yes, we encourage safe drinking, know your limit, stay within it, and have a wonderful time. And
Heck yeah.
with our rich, velvety, fun, and quirky accented voices tonight. We've got some interesting
Velvety.
voices. Without further ado, everybody ready?
Yes.
So we can just start with mine. We'll just go down the list then. Wait, is mine? Yeah. Because X is going to the end, so we'll just go down the list, starting with not joking. Okay. This is a piece called Not Joking. I will give you the cast in just a second. I've got to read it. I will be doing stage directions. Yanis will be played by Deja. Dr. Morgan will be played by Xavier. Velma will be played by Christian. The hostess will be played by Amy Lynn. The manager will be played by Kai. And Jeanette will be played by Amy Lynn. Sound good, everybody?
Yeah.
Great. Let's do it. Interior doctor's office, day. Yanis sits before... We're gonna hold for a sec.
That was incredible timing.
Drink.
What just happened? Their internet must have died, right?
Oh no. Oh no.
And we're back. Sorry.
You good?
Great.
Let's get it.
Yikes.
All right. Starting from the top. Interior, doctor's office, day. Yanis sits before Dr. Morgan after a simple checkup.
You have 24 hours to live.
I'm sorry?
Cut 2. Interior Yanis's bedroom, day. Yanis has been crying. She sits on her bed, bundling up and petting her dog. Her phone buzzes and shows a call from Mama, Heart. Yanis tosses the phone. Her dog cuddles up closer.
What should I do, Velma? If you had 24 hours to do whatever, what would it be? I bet 24 hours feels like an eternity for you, huh?
Grrr.
You hungry, girl?
Roof.
Yanis thinks for a moment.
You know what? I've got an idea.
Interior, Providence Restaurant, day. Yanis steps into the esteemed restaurant in her casual clothes with Velma the Dalmatian by her side.
Madame, no pets are allowed in Le Providence.
It's okay. He's an ESA.
Still, we have a policy.
Table for two, please.
The hostess looks at Yanis sternly.
Madame.
Okay. You drive a hard bargain.
Yanis places down a stack of cash on the hostess' stand and slides it towards the hostess.
All right, madame. Right this way.
Before Yanis sits at the table, she pulls back a seat for Velma the Dalmatian, who graciously and courteously sits on it. The surrounding tables stare awkwardly, but Yanis herself sits down and orders one of everything on the menu, showing another fat stack of cash to the server as she comes by. Yanis speaks to Velma the Dalmatian as if she is speaking back, laughing and joking and causing a huge commotion in the center of the restaurant. The manager steps out onto the floor.
Aye, who let this dog into La Providence?
The hostess shrinks behind her desk.
Aye, get out of here. We don't accept dogs.
Yanis laughs and Velma and her start Yanis laughs and Velma starts barfing as the two scramble out of the restaurant, having ate their fill. The manager chases behind them.
Aye, you have to pay for what you did eat.
Yanis and Velma are already gone. Exterior dog park, evening. Velma the Dalmatian drags Yanis toward the dog park nearby, and Yanis lets Velma off of her leash. Yanis sits on a bench and catches her breath.
Cute dog.
Yanis jumps as she hardly noticed the person sitting next to her.
What's her name?
Velma.
Cute.
Yours?
I don't have one.
Then why are you at the dog park?
Checking the timers.
Yanis looks at her strangely. The woman sits in an all-white suit, yet not a fleck of dust clings to it. Her hair is long and black, and her skin dark. She looks to Yanis with knowing gray eyes.
Enjoy your night, Yanis. I see Velma is.
As the woman points to Velma, Yanis sees Velma look back and begin galloping jauntily at the pair. Yanis turns to speak, but the woman is gone.
Yeah, Velma. Where to next,
Roof.
Velma starts sprinting out of the dog park.
Velma! Where are you going?
Yanis runs after her. Cut to exterior beach, night. Yanis runs after Velma and finds herself standing in damp sand. Her shoes are gone and the sun is set, leaving a bright full moon in the dark sky.
Orf.
Velma tackles Yanis into the sand.
Oh, calm down, girl. Jeez, you've been eating too much. I didn't realize we were so close to the beach. Yeah, girl. Go play in the water.
Grrr.
Okay, I'm coming.
Velma pulls at Yanis' shirt until they're walking towards the water together.
It's warm out.
Roof.
Velma leaps into the water. Yanis cowers and closes her eyes, waiting for a splash of icy water to rain on her. But when she opens them, she's no longer at the beach. Cut to exterior field, day. The sun shines brightly, and wind softly tugs at the field of long grass and pastel-painted flowers.
The heck?
Woof.
Yanis turns to see Velma chasing a butterfly, her large Dalmatian frame bouncing haphazardly along the greenery.
What is going on?
Dwarf.
Yanis turns a different direction and sees Velma rolling around in the grass behind her.
Thelma, come here, girl.
Roo.
Yanis turns one more time towards the sound of her dog, but in front of her is a doorway. 2 feet ahead of Yanis, an oak door, carved and intricate, stands tall. Something about the door reminds her of home, away from this field of emerald, but she can't quite place what it is. Yanis can hear Velma barking from the other side, along with the laughter of her mother and sister too. Her favorite childhood song, Obsessed by Mariah Carey, plays softly, the notes sweetly buzzing against the thick oak wood. An urge to stay holds Yanis back for a moment. The air of the field flowers is sweet under her nose, but the pulling force of the door is stronger. She reaches towards the doorknob and turns it, gently pulling the door open. End.
No,
I would like to know the real ending.
Right.
he can't end there.
Part 2, Electric Boogaloo True ending. Cut to interior Yanis's bedroom early morning. Yanis's sister, mother, and her 2 best friends sit around her bed. Yanis lies still, her eyes open and glazed forward, eternally locked towards the large oak door that guards her bedroom. Velma the Dalmatian hops around the foot of the bed, anxiously tugging at the covers blanketed over the body, but no one on the bed stirs.
Great.
I didn't want
Great.
that ending after all.
Wait.
Let's rewind. Let's go back.
No, I appreciate it because I was like, if she's gonna die, how is she just going out and doing all these things? That was,
Oh, that's so sad.
yeah. Well written, Nick.
What's that?
Yeah, that was really good. Jeez.
Thank you.
Crying in
She
a
took her
tub.
dog with her. That's pretty nice.
Yanis and Velma.
It's like the whole Egyptian thing where your pets are like a guide for you in the afterlife or
Yeah.
whatever.
Aw.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
But then like they buried the cats with the pharaohs, so that's like fucked up.
They read him alive, or
I believe so. I don't know. I didn't do a lot of
oh my
research.
god. Oh,
Yoicks.
yeah, that's a little morbid. But hey,
Hi.
it's your guide.
Mhm.
I think I want Maple as my guide in the afterlife.
I don't know if she'd be a good guide.
That's
I
the
don't know
point.
where
It'd be
Maple's
fun.
gonna lead you.
Maybe
I
she'll
know
go
for a
riser.
fact our cats would not be good guides.
Oh my gosh.
It'd be great. Imagine if Freddy was yours. That'd be awesome.
Oh. Oh, okay.
By the door. I don't know what she's doing. Hi.
That was a great
Yes.
piece, Nick.
That was awesome. I
Oh, yeah.
enjoyed
Thumbs up.
Thanks. Excellent read. Excellent Borkin.
it.
Or-
Dwarf.
Oh.
Kai,
Aru.
you were up next.
Oh, yes, sir. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. This piece is called One Step at a Time. The cast is as follows. Ayana Coleman will be played by D. Ray Donovan will be played by Christian. And Jamari Coleman will be played by X. I'll be reading stage directions. Are you guys ready?
I think so.
Cool beans. Interior, Maverick Bar, night. It's 1:18 a.m. The bar, once alive with people and music in the early night, has now settled into a chilled lull, with people mingling, drinking, laughing, and smoking outside. Ayana Coleman, 25, reserved, rational, calculating, sits in a corner booth with her best friend and coworker, Ray Donovan, 26, big thinker, understanding, charismatic. She's sipping on a dirty martini, while he's nursing a cold beer. They're both already a little tipsy. She takes a deep breath.
I didn't want this to begin with This was always Jamari's thing, not mine.
I hear you. Unfortunate, though. I feel like you could do a lot with it.
Yeah, Jamari did a lot with it, and look what happened.
Ray winces. Ayana realizes she took it too far.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have.
No, no. We're all grieving. We just do it in different ways. It's fine. I know you don't mean it.
There's a slight pause.
Sometimes I think about his last night. I remember him calling me earlier that day, but I was too caught up in work. I told him I'd call him back. He kept saying he was going to do something to change it all, to fix the system, to finish what our ancestors started.
Guy was a superhero. You had to admit.
Ayana takes a sip of her martini. She clocks the growing sadness on Ray's face.
I'm sorry, Ray. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Hey, he was your brother. You can bring him up anytime you want.
But you were his fiance. You guys were together for almost 5 years. I should have been more mindful. I will be more mindful.
It's all good, Jan. But back on you. Now that you have this power, what are you gonna do with it?
Nothing. I don't know. I just wish it didn't exist in the first place. No one should have this power.
Sure, but you do.
Yeah, no pressure.
I'm just saying, everything happens for a reason.
Ayana finishes her glass.
You want another? I'll buy.
I might take you up on that.
Here, I'm about to head out, so this can be our last drink.
I'll probably stay for a while longer. Try and unwind.
You good to head back on your own?
Don't worry about me.
Ray gets up to get them another drink. Ayana stares down at the floor, pulls her gaze up to look around her. She sees people of different backgrounds mingling and drinking. She sees some happier than others, and some who don't seem to be present at all. Ray returns, and the two switch to lighter topics as they finish another drink. A half an hour later, Ray goes, leaving Ayana to herself and her thoughts. She leans back against her seat.
What do I do, Jamari?
She shuts her eyes, waits a beat. Through the haziness of the alcohol, she feels the power inside of her expand and then radiate outwards. And when she opens her eyes again, time stands still, frozen in place. She looks around, takes a sip of her martini, and chuckles.
You really had the power to stop time, and you still got caught. You still got yourself in trouble, Jamari. What the hell?
She finishes her drink, drops the glass, and stands up. She staggers her way towards the window that leads outside, passing by smokers leaning against the balcony, and making her way to an empty corner. She takes a deep breath.
Okay, I'm drunk enough for you to manifest. So, what the hell do I do, Mari? You gotta help me out here.
We see a man stepping up beside her. Jamari Coleman, 28, fit, charismatic, patient.
Shit, Yan. I can't help you with everything.
Why the fuck not? You're my big brother. You're supposed to help me.
At some point, you gotta do things on your own.
I have absolutely done everything on my own. High school, college, my whole career. I've done all of that on my own.
Okay, well, damn. I'm just saying, I can't tell you what to do with your power, with your own power.
But it's not mine. I don't want it in the first place.
You think I did?
Yeah, you were so proud of it. It was all you ever talked about.
Yeah, I had to live with the fact that I had it for 24 years. I was 5 when I found out. Do you know how many times I cried myself to sleep thinking, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy? No one in their right mind would one day stop time and think, shit, I know exactly what to do with this. I mean, maybe some people do, but it's not that easy for most of us. You got to really decide what that means to most to you.
Do I have to? Can I just ignore it?
Sure, but it won't stop just because you're avoiding it.
Hmm.
Things will stay frozen at random times of the day. Moments will rewind, past and present will intertwine.
Okay, dude. A simple no would have sufficed.
It just kind of feels like you're only thinking about the negatives of this, though.
Ayana mulls over this. She turns away to face the skyline.
Do you think my passing affected your views on it?
Ayana shrugs.
Maybe. What does it matter?
It matters. How you view it matters because it'll affect how you use it. Time is a thin thread, Yan. And you can't either lose yourself trying to rectify the past or make the most of your present.
I just want you back.
Ayana doesn't realize she's crying until the tears are sliding down her face. She takes a deep breath and composes herself. Jamari stares at her in sadness.
I'm sorry.
I can't do this, Mari. I'm not strong like you are.
No, you're stronger. Whatever you choose to do, sis, I believe in you. I always have.
Ayana turns to look at him, but suddenly he's not there anymore. And then everything snaps back into focus. People are moving again, lights are twinkling, cars are honking. Time returns. Ayana looks around and sighs.
I've always hated your philosophical bullshit.
But then she starts chuckling.
Maybe making the most of my present. Okay. Mari, you win.
She shuts her eyes, waits for the power to come back. The power to stop time. Well, first thing she would do, the thing that matters most to her, is obvious. When she reopens her eyes, time is once again at a standstill. She moves away from the balcony, leaves the bar, and makes her way to her car. So late at night, with everything frozen, it takes her only a few minutes to get to her location. Exterior, house porch, night. She pulls up in front of the homey little house and gets out. It's late, but they're up late at night anyways, watching reruns of old shows. She shuts her eyes and waits for the eventual click in her brain, the signaling of the continuing of time. When she reopens them, sounds and sights come back to life. She makes her way towards the front door, takes a deep breath, and knocks. A minute later, the door swings open. An older woman stands on the other side, surprise coloring her face.
Hey, Mom. I know, it's been a while. I've been distant since Mari's passing. I'm sorry. I took it all out on you and Dad, and I shouldn't have. I was just wondering if you're not busy this weekend, if you guys wanted to have lunch with me or dinner, whatever works better. I want to make better use of my time, I guess. And I want you guys to be a part of it more.
Ayana nervously looks up at her mom, who smiles warmly back at her. She steps aside, inviting her in, and Ayana takes a hopeful step forward before her mom closes the door behind her. Fade out.
That was so cool.
I was just
Nice.
stumbling. That was a great read. Thank you,
That
guys.
was so wholesome.
So they have like real powers, like superpowers, right?
Yes, sir.
So does that mean that technically he exists at the same? So he came forward into time to tell her that
Ew.
because
Isn't
he
she
exists
just
at the
hallucinating?
same time.
Well, no. So they can stop time, but they
Uh-huh.
can't go back or forth.
Oh,
They can
okay.
She was just drunk and having.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It was her talking to herself, basically.
Mm.
Oh, I thought it was like a Watchmen moment. Anyone seen Watchmen?
Oh, yeah.
And no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you not familiar, Kai?
Time, past, and present
man.
coexist at the same time. It's just what
Never
plane you
mind.
wanna
Or-
choose.
What's it? Your Name, the anime movie.
Mm.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Highly
Wow.
recommend
Yeah.
both Your Name and the Watchmen series.
So sad that it's only one season.
Oh.
It was lightning in a bottle. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think they should push it
honestly.
because it was so good.
It was so good.
Where, what's it on?
Kai,
Like-
watch it.
HBO?
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
watch it.
We shall absolutely watch it.
Mhm.
I think I watched it
Add to
on
the list.
Hulu, but then it got removed from Hulu.
Oh, what the fuck?
It got removed like midway through me watching it, and we had to find another platform, which is
Horrible.
HBO.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That sucks.
awful.
Mhm.
Kai, this piece
Like
was awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you.
To make me cry. Why don't you? Fuck.
Oh.
Jesus. God.
It reminds me of what's it called? Raising Dion. If you've never seen it, watch it. It's cute.
So
it's wholesome.
underrated.
Single moms raising a superpower child. Right.
It's
Raising-
a superpower series, and it's really good, but it
Mhm.
doesn't do as well as the rest because it's a predominantly black cast.
That's just like the
But-
Get Down. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
Thinking. Oh.
Fucking love the Get. Oh, it's on Netflix.
Mhm. It's good.
Let's go.
I recommend. It's a
Yeah,
big
it's a Netflix
twist.
original.
It's great.
It's really good. Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure.
Michael B. Jordan producing it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 recommend. Yes. It's a good piece, baby.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Long
Yeah,
time I
yeah.
watch.
I wish I got my superpowers. I
Moving
didn't.
forward,
Did you-
for,
Superpowers X.
Christian Morgan.
Alrighty. This is called the Edmund Killings. Does everybody know their part, right?
No.
All
look.
All right.
I'm Mateo.
Yeah.
My name is
I'm
Flash.
Naomi.
I'm Clark.
We know them now.
Awesome possum. Heck yeah. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's get in it.
All
At
right.
your own discretion. Go ahead.
Okay. Exterior, open field, dusk. Naomi, purple tipped hair, skinny jeans, and a shirt striped jacket combo, is lying in an open field, covered in blood. Her lifeless eyes stare towards the fluffy, pinkish clouds in the light purple and orange sky.
Sometimes I resent the fact that I don't believe in a higher power. Oh, how easy it would be to feel reassured that there's a life after death. Yet here I am. I feel cold. And all I can think about is if I'm lucky to still be breathing or if I'm unlucky because I didn't die a fast and painless death.
Fade 2. Interior ice cream shop, morning. Naomi sits alone staring at her school binder. The binder is filled with newspapers of recent attacks and murders. Next to that is a sheet of paper detailing a final assignment for the semester.
Today started out normal. I came to the ice cream shop to focus, mainly because no one came in during the colder seasons and the clerks would usually leave me alone, whether you buy something or not. I had a plan, a dangerous one, but a plan nonetheless. My plan was to finish my project for my history class 24 hours before it was due.
Mateo, tall, muscular, and a rosary around his neck, walks into the shop, darting straight for the seat in front of Naomi.
Mateo sat in front of me. Typical. He was the man, boy of my dreams. Not romantically, but platonically. You see, I had always wanted a brother, but my parents didn't want any more kids after me. So, one day after getting my butt handed to me by some tomboy know-it-alls, Mateo found me and offered to help me with my bullying problem. Ever since then, he's taken care of me, and his parents even accepted me as one of their own. I guess dreams do come true.
What's up, Pipsqueak? Finally getting started on the assignment that Mr. Guthrie handed out?
Go away, Mateo. I don't have time for you.
That's no way to talk to your old friend. Hey, what are you doing for the final over?
The recent murders.
You can't be serious, Mimi. Why would you go and do something like that?
It's a history project, and he said old or new, so why not make new history and get a grade while doing it, you know?
Okay, I guess. I mean, what are you going to be doing?
I'm going to track down the killer, and I'm going to lock him up.
Yeah, You in what army? Did you forget that this guy has killed over 25 people so far? No, better yet, what makes you think you can do it better than the police at tracking down this maniac?
The fact that the killer is suspecting the police, but he or her or whatever won't be expecting me.
That's a stupid idea. But whatever. Do I know?
You don't, and that's why you keep doubting me.
Whatever, kid. Do what you want to do. But we gotta be heading to class, so come on.
I'm skipping today. I have one absence left, which is what I'll be using to finish up this project.
Mimi, you're one dumbass girl. You know that?
For a religious boy, you have little faith.
Stay safe, chump. Or else, if you die, then I swear to God, I'm going to kill you.
Mateo runs out the door, leaving Naomi alone at the table. She looks out the window, seeing the apartment complex where the latest murder took place. As she's staring, she feels a faint gaze on the back of her neck. She looks back and sees the ice cream shop clerk turning away as soon as she turns around.
What are you staring at?
Huh? Nothing.
Wait a minute. You've been working here for a while, right?
Just a few months or so. Why?
What time does the ice cream shop close?
Around 6-ish. But I know what you're about to ask. The answer is no.
So you didn't see the murder across the street?
Nope. But I mean, I've seen something. For a price, that is.
What's the price?
Buy an ice cream.
Naomi reluctantly reaches into her back pocket and pulls out a wad of cash. She grabs a $5 bill and slaps it on the counter. The clerk picks it up and puts it into the register.
Chocolate chip cookie dough. So what can you tell me about the night of the murder?
Not much, but what I do remember is seeing a shady-looking guy with his hands stuffed in his pockets. He sat around the corner like he was scouting out the place.
Did he have any notable features?
He wore a big black coat and blue jeans. I couldn't really see his face because he was covered by a face mask. Again, he kept his hands in his pockets the entire time.
As the clerk finishes telling Naomi the last piece of info, he finishes scooping up the ice cream. He holds out the cone, offering it to her. She grabs it, and the clerk grabs her, pulling her in.
I overheard what you said about trying to find this guy, but I'm gonna have to agree with your friend. Stay out of this one, kid. Elsewise, you'll be praying to God that you hadn't gotten involved.
She pulls back, the clerk's face going from anger to a big, bright smile.
Would you like some sprinkles with that?
Without missing a beat, Naomi bolts out the establishment across the street. She looks back, still seeing the clerk staring, but their smile has faded. She looks down, realizing that she has dropped her ice cream, then realizing that she was in front of the police tape.
At that moment, when I ran, I didn't feel scared. I felt anger. I knew I had something to prove. Now, standing here, right next to the spot of a murder, I was going to catch this crook or die trying.
Naomi crosses under the tape, looking around for a while. She stumbles about, not knowing exactly what to look for, until she comes across a tuft of green fuzz. She takes a picture of it, and then picks it up, placing it in her pocket.
I know. You're thinking it too, and I'm beating my head while trying to figure out how a piece of green fuzz was going to help me solve a long string of murders. The only problem being, when I saw it, I had a gut feeling. Green fuzz isn't natural to anywhere except puppets. There was only one theater in Edmond. It was a small children's theater across from the school. Mateo and I used to go there when we were younger. Heck, all the kids did. There, they would host puppet shows with the wacky costumes and funny characters, but why would a killer hide out in some abandoned children's theater? I mean, wouldn't that be the first place the police would check? No matter, I had to go.
On the way over, Naomi's cell phone begins to buzz in her pocket. She answers, surprised to see who the caller was.
Hello? Naomi?
Hey, Mrs. Crabtree, what's up?
I was just calling to see if Mateo was with you. I haven't heard from him since he left this morning. Have you seen him?
No, sadly. Mateo visited me at the ice cream shop, but left before me. If I see him, I'll let him know you called.
All right, hun. Well, you better get back to classes. Talk to you later.
Naomi hangs up without a word.
I knew what this meant. A feeling sat heavy in my stomach, and it only got worse the closer I was to the school. I should have gone with him, but it was too late for regrets. My hunch had better been right. At this point, I had hoped that if there was a God, no matter how merciful, that he was real and he was watching over Mateo.
Cut to interior theater, afternoon. Naomi is stealthily walking through the hallways, pausing every moment to listen for any sound. Suddenly, a scream comes from the basement of the theater. Naomi runs over to the stairs, seeing Mateo's rosary on the first step. She runs down, stopping at the bottom to see Mateo's back to her.
Matt? Mateo!
You think you can save your friend now?
Naomi pulls out her can of mace, pointing it from place to place.
What's going on here? Who are you? Show yourself!
No, Mimi, just run.
Shut up, boy. I'll show myself if I wish.
Run, Mimi, just get out of here.
I said shut it!
Mateo's right hand comes all the way out, flinging itself back into Mateo's face.
Stop it! Leave him alone! Show yourself, coward!
As you wish.
Mateo turns around, his face towards the ground. On his right hand is a purple puppet with green hair and a pink nose.
Is this some kind of joke?
Ain't no joke at all, baby. I'm all too real.
Okay, enough, Matt. Drop the act. Also, your mom is worried sick about you.
Mateo raises his head, tears in his eyes. He's beaten and bruised.
You still think I'm playing around?
That's it, you wet doorknob.
Naomi angrily walks towards Mateo, slapping the puppet away. As she does, she feels something sharp in her hand. Naomi looks down, seeing blood coming from her palm. Mateo pushes her back, with Paulie getting right in her face.
The last idiot who hit me, well, they don't have a pulse anymore.
Naomi screams, running back up the stairs. Paulie lets out a little cackle, telling Mateo to give chase. Naomi keeps running, hearing Paulie's laugh getting closer to her. She slams into the doors and closes them quickly, looking back to see Paulie staring at her from the other side of the glass.
Never in my life would I ever think that something like this could or would happen. Now that it is, or, well, did, I'm sad I was scared of such a stupid thing.
Naomi runs towards the nearby forest, Mateo and Paulie close on her heels. She turns back one last time, but trips and tumbles over herself. Mateo and Paulie jump on her, Mateo punching and punching, with every punch his hand getting more and more bloodied. Paulie bites her, ripping and tearing chunks of flesh from her arm.
Enough, minion. Get off of her. Let me enjoy this moment.
Mateo, eyes still watery, gets off of Naomi and stands above her. Paulie cackles at the sight of another victim.
So, here's where we left off. Blood, crazy friends, and death at my doorstep. I kept thinking about how the ice cream clerk said I'd pray to God that I wish I hadn't gotten involved. Damn, it's funny when people are right. So, God, you gonna intervene?
A shot rings out. Mateo looks over at his hand, a bullet hole where Paulie's head was. Blood gushing from the spot, from the fact that his fingers were there.
I guess dreams do come true.
FBI, hands where I can see them.
I'll just cut to the chase and tell you everything turned out hunky-dory. Mateo and I were rushed to the hospital. My injuries were considered minor, which warranted a few bandages and doctors giving me the go-ahead to leave for home. As for Mateo, he was freed of all charges, with no evidence leading back to him being the murderer. He did have a surprise visitor, though. That being the ice cream clerk. He visited me as well.
Cut to interior hallway day. Naomi just finished doing her presentation. The school bell rings, with all the kids leaving and Naomi leaving last. She exits into the hallway, seeing clerk standing there.
Hey, yo, kid. I overheard your presentation.
It was crap. They all laughed in my face, not believing any of it. Mr. Guthrie said that I'm getting a C for fabricating history.
They just need a little faith.
So you knew what was going on this entire time?
Sorta. I just couldn't find the Muppet.
Aha! I was a bigger help than you realized.
Yeah, you were. We could use someone like you on the team. Once you graduate, of course.
Are you going to stick around to cover up everything and watch after Mateo and I?
Nah, there ain't nothing to cover up. But, on another note, I recently got a call about another crazy person. This one being a serial killer. So, I'll be heading out tomorrow.
After that day, I never saw them again. On a side note, I did get a note to join their agency. I finished what I set out to do. It's funny. I guess dreams do come true.
Nice.
What a
ride.
ride.
This is some Jim Bontempo brick shit if I ever saw anything.
Brick shit?
That, you know how in Bontempo's class he made you redo scenes because of like movie genres? One that he always put out every class was brick, and it was this like noir type of thing.
Lord.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Is that where you got your inspo from, Christian?
No, I didn't even know that was a thing.
You just let me
No, no.
explain all that for nothing.
It was for us.
Oh,
It was context.
isn't it?
That was a good
What?
reading.
so
Everybody
cool.
did amazing in that one.
That was a great script.
It
It
was
reminded
fun.
me of like Veronica Mars type.
That
I
was
like
the
the
biggest plot
line.
twist ever.
I like the line, Mimi, you a dumbass girl.
I was like, jeez. Is that
The
you
wet
talking or
doorknob,
Polly?
dude.
A wet doorknob, yes.
Damn.
Nick, you were a beautiful puppet killer person. I love
Terrifying.
that.
The
Terrifying.
laugh.
The cackling. It's great.
Took me
Ruined
out.
me.
will this-
Absolutely ruined me.
Would this continue? Because like there's a serial killer.
I know.
Oh,
Was that?
That's a hint to Kai's piece.
Oh yeah.
I was wondering.
It seemed like it was in the same world.
I was like-
definitely
Hmm,
just another
let's go crossover.
like voice telling you to hurt people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. True.
Terrifying.
We need a line of killers. Intoxicated Killers.
Oh, there
The
you go.
series. The musical, the series.
Oh no.
Intoxicated
No.
musical episode? When?
Oh,
Ooh.
add it to the prompt list.
Something you're seeing.
I mean, with impact, I could probably make it work.
Yes.
You know, speaking of which, Xavier.
Xavier. This
Rap.
piece
Yeah, wrapping up the night. with,
Let's
is
go.
long.
we're on to the second half
There's
of the
a
show,
reason.
people.
Oh
There's
my
a
god. Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
There's a reason. Just been working on it for a week.
Oh, wait, before we go real quick, John Snowby in the chat. I keep accidentally tabbing out of our webcams. We want to do some in-person shows very soon, so thank you for the suggestion, and hopefully you'll be seeing it. So
Heck yeah.
yeah.
Pew, pew.
All right, X, it's all yours.
Yeah, I lost some people, so everyone had to double up. So there's a reason to this. Everything has a reason. Everything. But enjoy the ride. Let's all, just dive into this. Okay. Main characters Nick, Sophie, me. Recurring, Achelos, Amy Lynn. Tanet is Kai. Shroud is also Amy Lynn. Judas is Deja. King Tet is Christian. Winthrop is Kai. General is Deja. Essay is Amy Lynn. Unknown Man, Christian. Kai is also the doctor. And crew/everyone is everyone.
Let's do it.
All right, and I'm doing stage directions. Okay. Exterior, town center, day. The town center is destroyed. Both sides have great losses. Many of the injured people still trying to crawl to the food and supplies. Many of the soldiers are scrambling to their ships and picking up the injured.
I think that's enough.
Judas bears down on her swing. The ground below them becomes a crater.
I will not let her go. She will cause so much death.
Look around you. Your soldiers are severely injured.
Doesn't matter. Shroud has to be dealt with to keep Superness and the princess safe.
You must not be a good leader if you're willing to let your soldiers die. Judas looks around. She sees her army torn to pieces. Her axe vanishes.
She will bring calamity to us all. I will be back to finish the job. Infernus scum. Infernus will and has led people to their death before.
I will not stop until Superness treats us like people and share what they have. If they choose not to, then I will bring their world down, literally.
Everyone fall back. Let's live to fight another day.
Judith turns and walks away. As each of her troops regroup and head into their ships, the ships begin to take off one by one. As they take off into the sky, the wind from the jets rustles the trees and makes the leaves fly into the sky. Judith stops and calls to Shroud.
I look forward to what chaos I bring upon you next time we meet. I'll see you in the sky on Superness.
Judith points to the sky as a floating mass is overhead. It looks almost as big as a moon. It looks like another Earth floating in the sky. From just the difference on how Superness soldiers are dressed and the technologies they carry, Superness is a bountiful world with technologies beyond man. A ship flies overhead with a line and standing plate hits the ground. Judas steps on it and is carried away into the sky towards Superness.
Tend to the wounded. Make sure to hand out supplies.
More people in hoods show up and start helping the injured people. They bring out stretchers and tents with low-grade hospital equipment. Shroud walks around checking on the status of each person until nightfall.
That was crazy. I've never been so happy to sit on wet grass.
This will probably be our only moment of rest.
We should stick with Shroud and get some answers.
You three, with me, please.
Shroud walks up to the group. She ushers them to follow her. Cut to. Exterior, town streets, night. Shroud is leading them into streets of this town. This part of the town seems so distant from the town center. It's like a row of apartments on either side of the street. Many people hanging out the windows and doors. They all seem to notice Shroud as she walks through.
I don't know who you are, or what part of the world you came from, but I need your power.
Exactly what is going on here? What's Superness and
Infernus. We are the Infernus. We, the people on the ground, left to fend for ourselves. Superness is the artificial world that was created by the late Grand King.
How was it created?
No one really knows. They say he pulled it from another world. But you can see the difference. How many of us live in slums while their cup runneth over? Supplies and technologies they could share, but many of the people of Superness look down on us.
It seems some of you are doing okay.
We learned how to live in this dangerous world. The forestation destroyed a lot, and the animals become more feral. Evolved, so to speak. So did we.
They stop on the street as a man and woman carry a saber-toothed tiger to roast.
Wait, didn't those go extinct?
Extinct? When did they ever go extinct? These are one of the main predators here.
What year is...
We are here.
They stop at the end of a street. The building had a tree growing in the middle of what seems to be a dome. Sophie, Nick, and Xavier stop to get a second look at the building. One more time before heading in. They follow Shroud through a building. The group sees old chairs, torn canvas, and blown out glass counters. Shroud stops at the door and presses a button. The door opens, as is his functioning elevator. They step in. Cut to elevator.
Could you press the B?
She points at Nick.
Oh, my name is Nick.
He says as he presses the button. The elevator begins to move. Shroud looks at the rest of them.
I'm Sophie.
Xavier, what about you?
It's just Shroud. Ever since I remember that was my name.
The elevator does a hard stop. The doors open. Cut to interior, headquarters, night. The elevator doors open to a room filled with papers and photos. There's a long table with long table in the room with people sitting at it. It seems to be like a headquarters of the Infernus.
I brought them.
An old, war-hardened woman sits at the head of the table. As Stroud walks in around to sit at the table, she stands up and walks around the room looking at the info on the walls. She stops at a large painting on the wall. The painting uses deep colors as an expression of the artist and the torment they witnessed. At the bottom of the painting, there's 3 people on the last stair of a set of white stairs. One of the people seems to be approaching the middle of the painting, which is just a white line with rainbow of colors echoing from it.
There's a story of a painter that could see the future. He left behind this one painting. There's 2 meanings behind this painting. One is that the children of prophecy will see to a transition of a new era, bring about change, demolish the system set in place. The second is a quote he said as he died. To truly look at one's reflection is like looking into the abyss. You might not like what stares back. Dick, isn't it?
The woman goes to turn, but Xavier's already there at the painting. Honestly, I think I see a hand in the line. Sophie and Nick are already sitting at the table with the other people. Everyone at the table is confused. Shroud tries to hold in her laughter.
I kind of see that too. But on the other hand, you brought us here because we're the supposed children of prophecy.
The woman turns fully to the table, seeing Nick and Sophie already sat themselves down. Sophie is eating an apple.
Correct. That is why Shroud brought you here.
What if we aren't?
Sophie bites into the apple loudly.
Well, by the power you displayed, we think you are here to help.
A lengthy man stands up, annoyed at the situation.
If you're not here to help or even listen, why even fight in the first place?
Winthrop, calm down.
But General...
Well, to answer your question, Sophie, Nick, and Xavier get serious from this point on. The tone of the room shifted, became heavy.
Because it was the right thing to do.
Feeling the tension, Winthrop sits down in his seat.
Well then, I'll go ahead with our proposal. We want your help to storm the ever-so-guarded castle that is Supernus. We've been fighting this war for years, and it finally comes to a close tomorrow.
Why will we help you?
Because what happened today will happen tenfold if we don't take the fight to them.
I feel that will happen regardless because you attack their leader.
Well, that was the plan. We will evacuate this town and only have Infernus stationed here for a counterstrike.
We've been planning this for years. We have everything we need from this moment.
There's a long moment of silence.
I say we're in. If this can bring this war to an end, then we will help. When you have the power to help and you don't do it, it will stick with you forever.
Xavier and Sophie look at each other in agreement.
Great. Winthrop, if you will break down the plan.
Winthrop gets up and starts pointing at papers and breaking down the plan. He points at a map of Supernus. As everyone is talking about the plan, Xavier looks at Sophie and Nick, and they nod at him. He slips away. Interior, hallway, night. Xavier touches the side of his temple. Hello?
Hello, Xavier. I'm speaking through Lane's connection. The others can hear me as well.
Right. Is there an issue?
No, I think I pinpointed the cause of the rift. It is on some moving mass on that planet.
It's another planet. We're making plans to get there.
Great. The cause of the rift is faint, but it's at the peak of that planet.
Okay. On it.
X, we're headed to the next base.
On my way. Xavier heads back in. Cut to. Interior. Supernus Castle. Night. Many people are rushing hurt soldiers in. Judas is walking others in. A young woman runs to Judas. She's dressed in silver dress. She has white hair and warm blue eyes.
Shroud, what happened?
Princess Essie, you shouldn't see this.
I need to. Can't there ever be peace between us all?
No. Now, where's your father?
He's in the throne room.
Good. Take me to him.
The princess leads Judas through the grand hall, filled with gold and white marble, with a picture of the line of kings and queens. They stop at the grand doors leading into the throne room. The doors are made out of white titanium and gold.
It is Judas, King Tech. I have a report.
You may enter.
Judas enters still bloodied from the battle.
Good God! Someone bring a doctor. Get me a chair, quick. Judas, sit down.
I'm fine, sir.
That's an order.
The king's guards brings in a chair. Following them are Essay's maids with king's doctor. The doctor begins to patch Judas up.
With these wounds, you'll need anesthesia.
I won't. Continue.
The doctor begins to remove the shrapnel, and the maids begin to stitch up Judas. One maid is monitoring her heart with a touchpad.
Sir, they are going to come tomorrow, if not the break of dawn.
What makes you say that?
I know Shroud.
Explain.
Ah! It's like your games of chess, sir. I know what move she is going to make. Let's call it my endgame.
We have to remove your eye and replace it with a cybernetic one.
Essay, you should go.
No. If I am to rule, I need to see everything. Knowledge is the power here.
Okay, here we go.
The doctor pulls out a box. It activates and becomes a long robotic spider as big as a hand. The abdomen of the spider is a cybernetic eye. The spider leaps from the doctor's hand and onto Judas's chest. The spider climbs up the neck to her face. Where the prelapse, it fires a laser stitching her lip up to her eye and crawls around her bloody face and stitches her forehead to her eyebrow, then stops.
Would you like me to replace the eye now?
Just do it.
Prophecy, help me.
The doctor waves his hand. The spider reacts to the motion of his hand. The spider sits at Judas's right cheek. The doctor slowly motions his 2 fingers down. The spider's fangs become larger and wrap around Judas's destroyed eye. The spider digs in and pulls the eye straight out. Judas screams in pain and passes out. The nerve endings of the eye hang out of Judas's eye socket. The spider's spinneret connects the tissues of the cybernetic eye and detaches. The spider puts the cybernetic eye into the socket.
Judas?
Judas pops back up into her chair. She leans forward, still in pain, her blonde hair covering her eyes. She looks up at the king. The red glow of the cybernetic eye bleeds through her blonde hair menacingly.
All preparations.
Go ahead.
All preparations will be taken care of.
Cut to exterior, open base. Nick and Sophie stand on the second level of what looks like a rundown mall with a set of stairs leading into it. There's a little windows and doors. Each level has a different storefront. One sign says, Ave Oosters. I got some food.
Is this
Ramen!
Yeah, they said they found a store with a bunch of ingredients. Also, there's this. Xavier hands them a newspaper that says Hollywood 2040.
It reads, just 20 years ago, scientists tested out genetically modified seeds to bring back the Amazon. Will this be our downfall? The rest is smeared.
They all walk to the edge of the second level, and sit down. The delicious smell of ramen is enticing them. The smell of roasted chicken with scallions and soy sauce. They dig in.
Itadakimasu.
Thank you for the food. They eat in silence, reminiscing about what this place could have been. I think this place is Hollywood and Highland.
what? No way.
No, I can see it. Look, there's the elephants covered in trees.
Shroud walks up behind them and sits next to them.
You guys are seeming to enjoy yourself.
No, it's
It's okay. I just came here to give you these.
She hands them red bracelets.
These are like the bracelets Supernus shoulders use. And Furnace bracelets are different. Once you put it on and turn it counterclockwise, it heightens all senses.
How?
It breaks the limit on the human body. Please use it wisely. It is only good for a couple of hours. No one has done it more than twice.
we'll be sure to use them wisely.
Shroud gets up.
Thank you. If you come with me, everything is ready. We leave at dawn.
Cut to exterior, Hollywood Highland, night. The group follows Shroud to the lower level where a ship is waiting for them. All of Infernus is gathered around the ship. They are all wearing their red bracelets. Shroud steps up to speak.
As you all know, everything we have done was for this moment. We take our demons to the grave and walk our path. We will change the society as we see it, for everyone, not just the few. We are not chained down by preconceived notions. We are limitless.
Everyone screams and raises their right hand, showing off their red bands.
Let us raid the kingdom.
Judith steps in the ship, and the groups follow behind her. The Infernus run towards the other ships and stationed around the mall. They all take flight in the middle of night. Cut to interior ship. The inside of the ship is a white and with gold finishing. Its sleek design is stark contrast to the gray bulky exterior. Each chair is fully functional. Xavier is the first to sit. That was a good speech, but I've seen battles like this. Many of them will die, regardless of these limit breakers.
I know, but we are fighting for something greater than all of us. You should all get some sleep. The general will signal once everyone is in the position.
The chairs are so comfortable that the group instantly falls asleep. As it grows quiet on the ship, all is quiet. Cut to interior ship. Sirens are heard overhead, a red light flashing. The ship is getting bombarded by something.
They were waiting for us.
Shroud points to the windshield of the ship. A Supernus flagship is in the stratosphere of the planet Supernus, shooting down Infernus ships. Page 14 in the middle.
Come in, Judas. Come in.
Judas. Shroud rushes to the navigation board on the ship.
This is Judas. What's happening?
They guessed our plan. Hey, kid, you did good. Now you have to finish this.
Why are you talking like I won't see you when we touch down?
Because you won't. My ship is torn to shreds. Plus, some metal ripped right through me. I talked to some of the remaining ships, and we agreed to take down the flagship.
That's suicide.
I love you, kid. Ever since I found you on that road, you've grown into an amazing person. I have faith from this day forward, things will change.
The auto clips out.
General? General! Damn it!
Cut to interior general ship. The general looks around the ship to see her crew beaten and battered. She puts the ship into full throttle.
Well, damn. Going out in a blaze of glory. Fitting. All right, crew. Stand up.
The crew begins to stand.
We will go out fighting till our last breath.
Till the last drop.
Till we die, because we never stop.
We are limitless. The general ship flies through a barrage of bombs and cannon blasts to hit the thruster of the Supernus flagship, thus bringing it down. Cut to interior shroud ship. Another audio is heard from the ship's navigation board.
Hello? Come in, this is Winthrop.
Yes, Winthrop, this is Judas. What's the situation?
We are awaiting your orders, General.
Shroud backs away from the board for a second and a tear stream down her face. She then wipes them, and that's all that was left of the tears are anger.
This is to Winthrop and the remaining Infernus forces. They know we are here, so we will drop under the smoke of our ships. You already have your destinations. That is all.
What do you mean drop?
We are jumping from the ship and headed to the castle courtyard. We'll secure the castle.
Shroud hands them back from the ship's compartment. They all put on parachutes. Shroud then presses a button, and then back into the ship. The back of the ship opens. Shroud goes to the opening.
Oh, and if you don't jump, this ship is going to fall and self-destruct.
She jumps.
Why is it we always jump from high places?
Well, I'll see you guys down there. I can fly.
Sophie lets the air current take her out of the ship. Together? A bomb from the ground hits the ship, knocking Nick out of the ship as it spirals downward.
Come on, again!
The end of the ship spirals towards the ground. The G-force of the air coming into the ship pinned Xavier to the navigation board, Shroud and the others gliding down to the city of Supernus.
You have to get out of there. It's going to explode in less than 2 minutes.
Don't worry about me. Stick to the plan. I'll see you when you touch down. Xavier starts to climb the ship. As the time counts down, due to the pressure of the G-force, he's climbing slowly.
Less than a minute.
He's not gonna make it.
Xavier looks around the ship. He sees the ship's windshield cracking. As we are all falling, you know what comes to mind?
No!
Get out of
Get
there!
out of there!
Xavier materializes a sword from his bracelet. He throws it into the windshield. Then the ship explodes, leaving a trail of smoke as it falls to the ground. Damn. I was going to say a movie, but never mind. Xavier glides to his position. They continue their descent towards Supernus Castle. Cut to interior, Supernus Castle. Night. Just hours before the Infernus attack, the king puts on his armor in his quarters. Judas walks through the door with her armor on. Judas is wearing gold-plated armor with a cape draped around her shoulders blades.
Judas, you were right. The guard picked up movement on the radar.
I knew she wouldn't give up her momentum.
Precisely the momentum. So, I'm headed on the ground to stop this rebellion. I know you'll take care of things here.
Yes, sir. You have my word.
Good. Then I am off.
The king leaves, and Judas bows. Judas looks up at the king as he leaves, her cybernetic eye looking menacingly through her hair.
All shall be taken care of.
Judas laughs maniacally. Cut to interior, Supernus Castle, day. Judas is looking out the window of the throne room at the falling ships and laughs.
Today will all come to an end.
I assure we can make peace through all this.
If we want peace, we have to crush this rebellion. There is no peace without war, princess.
Two guards come in the door and signal to Judas.
Well, I'll take my leave. Stay here, princess.
Judas leaves. The princess looks out the window to see parts of the city on fire, burning ships falling to the ground.
Does no one want peace?
Cut to exterior, Supernus Castle. Shroud and the others drop down onto the castle's courtyard. The courtyard is 100 yards away from the castle. It is a long stretch of flowers and trees with a pond in the middle. Supernus soldiers wait on the other half of the courtyard.
Winthrop, can you patch me into the servers and sound system?
Winthrop over comms.
Yes. 3, 2, 1. It's all yours. Push them back, men!
Sounds of fighting are heard over comms. Then Winthrop connection cuts out. Shroud begins to walk forward and speak to everyone on Supernus.
People of Supernus, we are the people who you think are lesser than. Yeah, are the people who fight every day to survive because you won't share resources with us. For years, we asked for aid, and for years, you ignored us. So that everlasting fight we've been pushed to wage on each other is now coming to you. We are
Infernus! Spots in the city begin to glow bright red. Each station Inferno soldier switches their limit breakers. Each one of the Inferno soldiers' skins turns red with their skin breaking from the amount of power that rushed through their bodies. In the cracks of their skin are pure energy coursing through their veins like lava. Shroud materializes her weapon. It is a scythe with a black obsidian snake. The blade of the scythe is a purple shine as she swings the scythe. Shroud runs towards the castle doors.
end this today.
We'll have to follow.
There's at least 1,000 soldiers over there.
As long as we find the cause of the rift, I don't care who stands in our way.
Fine, let's go.
They rush behind Shroud. Sophie uses her shield and spear, knocking the enemies back. Nick uses multiple discs at once. He uses half of them to attack the soldiers and the other half to deflect. Xavier is fighting hand to hand. Ooh! I'm on fire today. Did y'all see that flying roundhouse?
Xavier, behind you.
There's a shadow of something towering over Xavier, a red gleaming eye. It comes down with amazing force. Xavier sidesteps to see his reflection in an axe blade.
I told you, didn't I? I'd kill you.
Judas kicks Xavier. He goes flying back. He slides on the ground to get his footing. But Judas is already there. She punches him in the stomach, sending him flying off of pure strength alone. She uses her reverse grip on her axe and sends an energy blast at Xavier.
There's no way she's that strong.
She's incredibly fast.
Xavier hits the ground and rolls to Sophie's position. His clothes are burning off to reveal his armor underneath. Hey, Sophie. So, tag in?
Wait, what? No!
Judas leaps to Xavier's position. Sophie taps her shield and spear to blast Judas over to Nick.
Hey, Nick, tag in.
Really?
Judas swings at Nick as she is sent flying. Nick barely dodges as the blade of the axe goes over his nose. Judas jams her axe into the ground to stop herself. Nick sends over all the disc he had creates for a dome for her. He reaches out both his hands and begins to close them. In doing so, puts Judas in a gravity field. Slowly, she goes to her knees.
You think this will stop me?
It doesn't have to stop you. Infernus will take the city regardless of you.
Well, you won't take the castle. You'll just be their martyr. It will raise their spirits until I crush them.
Judas slowly begins to get up. Judas swings her axe, sending a shockwave through her ranks and destroying Nick's disc.
I grow tired of this.
Judas puts her axe to the ground. She stands there for a moment, then picks her axe up slowly into a swinging position. The pressure is rising.
Do you guys feel that?
Everybody, get down!
Too late.
She swings. A wave of golden energy rips through her ranks, the sound of ripping as their bodies sundered. Nick, Sophie, and Xavier instinctively put their hands up as the energy hits them. As they stop the energy with the force field Nick created, the energy is demolishing everything else around it. Hold!
I don't know how long it's going to last.
They begin to be pushed back harder, but the energy pushes them back. It's so strong that just the pressure alone burns away at Nick's and Sophie's clothes.
It's pushing us back.
1 second.
Shroud begins to whisper under her breath.
Make it be swift in the cold of night, where the end draws nigh.
Shroud swings her scythe, and a purple blade of energy rips through their shield, clashing with Judas's gold energy. The clash of purple and gold light up the red sky. The energy then bursts. Judas on the other side, Shroud on the other.
It will take all of us to defeat her.
4-on-1. I like those odds.
Here she comes.
Judas rushes in. They all break away from Shroud. Judas and Shroud clash. Shroud is keeping pace with Judas' attacks. Sparks of purple and gold fly off them. Wait for it. She'll create an opening. Judas swings her axe down. Shroud balanced on the toe of the axe. Judas swings upwards, sending Shroud into the sky. Xavier rushes in as Judas reaches his peak. He hits her with a barrage of punches to the stomach, knocking the wind out of her. Judas drops her axe. Sophie then rushes around her, using wind, striking her with balls of fire. Nick blasts her with electricity from his disc. Shroud comes down using gravity to spin herself faster to become a ball of purple energy that rips through Judas. Judas catches Shroud's scythe.
I guess it's time to get serious.
She kicks Shroud to the side. She sidesteps Xavier, then she throws a punch at him. He dodges and counters it with an uppercut. She grabs his arm and kicks him in the head. She turns him into herself and suplexes him. She rolls over and runs to Nick, low to the ground like a beast. She punches through each disc until she's able to grab him. She hits him with a quick jab. It's so fast that air pops. Then throws Nick into the castle 50 yards away. Judah goes to pick up her axe and walks slowly over to Sophie. Sophie has in hand fire and wind spear. Judas front kicks Sophie. She blocks and counters it with a swing. Judas dodges and closes in distance. She hits Sophie with the end of her grip, knocking Sophie off balance. Judas does a full swing and hits Sophie with the side of her axe, propelling Sophie 20 yards away. She hits the ground and rolls.
Shroud, the weak can change nothing. That's why I choose to call the weak.
Shroud stands up and picks up her scythe.
You are never weak when you have people behind you. I have the whole entire Infernus army and the people on the ground counting on me. I will not lose.
Look at you, barely standing and your children of prophecy defeated. You thought you could change things. Next time, just stay in your place.
Hey! Who said we were done?
Nick walking out of a hole of the castle. That's right. You think I'll let you get away with suplexing me? Not at all. Xavier gets up, mouth bloodied. Nick makes a disc appear and walks through the disc. He appears out of a disc next to Xavier. You can do that?
I didn't know either.
That changes the game. Sophie, you good?
Yeah, I want to light this bitch on fire.
Sophie erupts with black flames.
How about this? You and Shroud head into the castle, take out the king. Xavier and I will finish this here. If she gets past us, you can handle her.
Fine.
Sophie uses the wind to whip around Judas and pick up Shroud. She passes between Nick and Xavier as they block Judas's path to the castle.
You better not die.
Don't plan on it.
Sophie heads into the castle.
Xavier, can you give me a second?
I got you. Xavier rushes towards Judas. He materializes a short sword. He goes in and attacks Judas.
Here we go. Chimera form.
A light engulfs Nick. Nick steps out of the light and becomes a multitude of creatures, donning his chimera form armor. His voice becomes monstrous and deep.
Seems things are getting interesting over there.
I'm your opponent. Nick's armor begins to change once again.
Chimera form. Black blood dragon.
Before the helmet of his armor closes, he switches on his limit breaker. A burst of red energy engulfs him. It stops Xavier and Judas for a moment. Through the red light, Nick calls out,
Parade of 100 demons.
Monsters of all sorts appear before Nick. They fill the courtyard.
Come to me.
They instantly vanish into the red light. Nick steps out the light once more. The chimera form armor only covers his body. It dons a blood-red cape attached to his shoulders. On his armor, what looks like a vision of hell. Many war-torn faces, demons are etched into the very soul of the armor. His voice is resilient and strong.
Mao, I am the Demon King.
Nick raises his hand and sends a ball of dark energy toward Judas. Judas deflects with her axe and heads towards Nick. Nick holds out his hand and the swords appear. Oh, a sword of the Demon King. I need to add that to my collection.
I name this sword Toiken.
The sword erupts with dark energy, forcing Judas back.
I'll break my limit to then.
Judas switches her bracelet on. Her blonde hair turns white. The cybernetic eye begins to spread this metallic skin all over her body. Judas's body is covered in steel and gold. Her hair touches her now lifeless metallic face.
You will die here.
Cut to interior, Supernus Castle, day. Sophie and Shroud run through the halls fighting off guards until they reach the throne room.
Damn it. Where is the king?
Maybe they're hiding him.
He's not here on Supernus.
Who are you?
Esse comes out from behind the throne. Sophie is confused.
I am Princess Esse.
You and Shroud look almost identical.
Shroud ignores that fact and points her scythe at Esse.
I'll ask again, where is the king?
I have this weird feeling I know the both of you. Is this why Nick was acting strange when we first met?
I don't understand why you are here. But can't we find peace?
The doors of the throne room are ripped off. Xavier's running down the hall toward them. Shit got hectic real quick. Nick and Judas are flying and fighting through walls. Nick blasts her into a wall. She counters right back, throwing him into another. Xavier's running from the carnage. What's going on? Did you find the cause of the rift?
No, but look.
Xavier looks up and sees Shroud and this other girl. They both look alike. They're like two sides of the same coin. I have this feeling.
I am nothing like her. I would never let people suffer.
Esse steps closer.
I tried to send aid. I was working to the best of my ability, so people of Supernus would change their mind.
I think I know why the rift was here.
You know nothing of what I went through. Why you were up here safe.
Essay steps closer, coming off the steps. Judas and Nick come crashing into the throne room. Nick has Judas pinned. Essay and Shroud are moving closer to each other step by step until they reach in the middle. Shroud and Essay are just about to touch hands.
Don't you touch her. You'll bring calamity.
They touch hands. Essay and Shroud speak simultaneously.
We are one.
A light flashes.
They are Natalie. Just split.
Essay and Shroud start to become multi-dimensional. After image of Natalie, Curly, Essay, and Shroud appeared behind the two of them, each of them on a different light spectrum, each a different reality, but all showing up at once. A break in the fabric of reality appears. The white void that echoes out a rainbow of colors begins to suck everything around it in. The light slowly spreading through the throne room, engulfing everything. We need to grab onto them now, before they're thrust into another reality. Xavier walks slowly to Essay and Shroud, covering his eyes because the rift is so bright. Art imitating life. The scene resembles the painting of the children of prophecy. Xavier reaches them. He grabs hold onto their hands.
Everything will be all right.
Nick releases Judas and jumps over to the group. As the gravity of Superness is changing due to the rift, he floats over and he changes back to his original form.
We got you.
The rift engulfs everything around, even the group. They are covered by a white light, huddled together.
Thank you.
Fade to white. Exterior, cliff serene, night. Achelos is snapped back to the cliff. Tennant runs to her.
What happened? You came back a day early.
I don't know. I kept a close eye on them like you asked. They got to the castle, but this white light engulfed everything, and then I was here.
I'll have to try and locate them. Come with me quickly.
Tennant and Achelos leave the cliff. Cut to exterior. Unknown.
Where are we? What happened to Shroud? Natalie.
I think she led us here.
No matter where she is, we'll find her.
They begin to walk the terrain. Why can't I remember her like you can?
I don't know. It was just this feeling.
Same here.
They continue to walk. The terrain becomes immensely hot.
I think we've been walking in circles.
Where even are we?
Arteris.
They all look up and see an old man chained to a rock.
Fuck.
End of chapter 17. Mid-season finale. Can they make an impact?
Xavier.
That was a mid-season finale.
Whew.
Wow.
Chained to a rock?
Right. That's amazing.
That was intense, yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. Had some mess ups in there, but I wrote that section half asleep, so I know why.
That's wow.
At the beginning, when you're describing like the battle, for some reason, like my mental image of it is, it's similar to Naushka. Have you seen the movie? Oh, I don't know why.
Mm.
I think in the movie they're fighting bugs.
You
Obviously. I don't know. And then also when you're describing like the city, wait, is it like the flames? It reminded me of like Howl's Moving Castle when you see like glimpses of like the war world. I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool.
Thank you.
My dream never fails. Wow.
Amy Lynn, I saw that you winced at the eyeball part.
Ah,
So descriptive.
Mhm. It was cool though. I saw it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was really cool.
The spider.
All of the descriptions were just
Judas just said, "Cool."
Like, anyway.
Judas is hard. She's hard.
I love that at one point it says like Judas screams in pain. Then she just continues talking to the king.
Okay.
Shit was funny.
The one thing what were you saying?
I was just gonna say it's very much like her character that.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Chill about it.
What were you saying, Deja?
Oh yeah. The one thing that I'm like really excited to see from this script is all the demons that Nick's characters summoned. Like that would be epic.
The armor.
Uh-huh.
That final just battle scene
Mm-hmm.
was great.
I love all like the like funny like breaks that
Mhm.
you have throughout the script.
Thank
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna
Pacing
film
is
it.
really
but
nice.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be epic.
We'll need a special effects
Animated.
budget.
Yeah,
Animator.
this one is definitely when we're more established. Money.
Yeah.
But
I was
wow.
like, what can I do to Nick's character? I was like, I don't really want to power up. They've seen Sophie power up. I was like, I guess I'll give Nick another like form. I was like, what can I do? I was like, Demon King. The night parade of 100 demons. I was like, that's it. So
It's
yeah.
pretty fucking sick.
Mm.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Fuck.
A
30
great
pages,
read.
man. 30 pages well
Mhm.
read.
Uh-huh.
We had a lot of Judases in there, and I'm sorry for that. That is on me.
Oh man, that was funny.
There
Yeah.
was a
But yeah.
point there where I was like, should I have not been reading? Should this have been Judas?
No, it was you. It was your part. It was just like somehow, somewhere, I think I mixed up like who I was talking about because it was supposed to be Shroud, and I was just like, I was just in the zone, and I just forgot to change it.
All good.
So yeah.
John Snowby said, "What a perfect job we're doing. Let's make The Godfather 4."
Heck yeah.
Imagine.
Amy Lynn, how's your like mob voice?
I could do a mob Italian voice for you.
Hey. Let's go.
Look at how they massacred my boy.
Let me get Oscar to do it real quick.
Dying.
Please.
Oh shit, guys, that's our show tonight.
Nice.
Yay.
What a
Heck
show it
yeah.
was.
What a show.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out in the audience. James and John Snowby hanging out for the full show. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks,
Mhm.
guys.
Thank you so much, y'all.
James, we're very excited to see your film for the film festival next week.
Hell
So
yeah.
excited.
Yep.
We haven't watched anything yet, but next Friday night at 7 p.m. we will be having the first ever Intoxicated Film Festival with a guest MC of Xavier Lewis.
Let's go.
So make sure you tune in. John Snowby, I'm looking at you. James, you should be there. Tune in Friday night, 7 p.m. on this stream. We'll be showing all of the films and doing a little awards show. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
On that note, we don't have a show on Saturday because we're doing the screening on Friday. So there's not a Saturday show this week. Okay? What else? Oh yeah, check out all of our social medias down below. There's a link to our YouTube, our Twitter, our Instagram. We upload our posters, some fun snippets. You can also join our Discord if you want to be on the show or play video games with us. We play video games quite often. Just hop in there and start up a chat. Or suggest prompts for us. That's always fun. And I think that's it, y'all.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Let's introduce ourselves.
Emily.
Should I start? I don't know. Nick yelled at me last time when I started.
I just want to mix it up.
And now
Go
I
for
don't
the-
know.
Why
I don't know
don't-
what the truth is anymore, Nick. I don't
Let-
know.
Let's just do that theater game where we like count to 10, but we don't like
Oh,
decide who's
no.
going. So everybody just like
No.
Gotcha.
feel it, okay? Introduce
Okay.
yourself.
I hate this.
Take it.
I'm Sophie,
anxious.
and I've been I've been flying out of and leaving my friends to not fly.
I'm Nick, and I have been a Demon King and a Muppet today.
I'm Kaitam, and I have been a wet doorknob.
I'm Deja, and I have been loving the different ways we can make Amy Lynn do stage direction.
I'm Xavier Pace, and Impact's going on hiatus. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm Amy Lynn Perea, and I have been talking to myself as multiple characters many times.
Christian Morgan, woof, woof, borf.
We did it.
Fair
we
enough.
Did it.
And we are the
The
Intoxicated
Intoxicated
Readers.
Check us out Monday night for game night and this coming Friday for the Intoxicated Film Fest. Woo!
Yeah.
Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Thanks for joining. Good night. Wave, Maple.
Bye bye.